Thank you for listening to Pow Block Podcast, the flagship Nintendo podcast of Boss Rush Network. Do you need even more gaming and entertainment in your life? Head over to bossrush.net where you can find news, reviews, creators, podcasts, and more focused around the content you enjoy.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Nintendo Pow Block here on Boss Rush Network. I'm your host, Eddie Bulbasaur V. Joining me is Jacob Raichu Taylor. Hi, Jacob.
Hey, Eddie.
Got some special guests with us. I got Greysun Morales.
Hey, Ed, what's going on?
And then I got Stephanie Meowth. That's right, Kilmore.
Stole my line. I was gonna say that's right. Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. As you can see, we are going to be talking about Pokemon Legends Arceus. We have played it. We have watched video of it. We have seen it trending on Twitter. We're not going to talk about sales of it yet because we don't have official numbers just yet. But we are going to be and not be very spoilerific about it, but we're going to give our impressions about this game. And everybody heads up. Stephanie Lamont and I from the Boss Rush writing team are going to be delivering you guys our official impressions in writing form, so you guys will be able to check that out a little bit later in the week. We got to give it time. We gotta, make sure that our thoughts are tight and right, and we'll give it out for you guys to actually read. But before we go with that, Greysun, how was your weekend?
Well, my weekend was good. I mean, like we talked about before we got live on Twitch, but it's been all Pokemon pretty much all day, every day. But besides playing, me and my partner, we had breakfast with one of our friends yesterday morning just to kind of get out the house a little bit. And yeah, I mean, it honestly it's been Pokemon and catching up on some anime. Like there was no episode of Demon Slayer and Attack on Titan, then Euphoria last night, so that's like our Sunday watch list. But no, it was a pretty chill weekend.
Nice.
Yeah.
Stephanie, how was your weekend?
I mean, it was all right. My weekend could have been filled with Pokemon, but if people have seen my complaints on Twitter, I pre-ordered it from GameStop to be mailed, which I will never, ever, ever, ever do again. It got delayed, and then we had a huge nor'easter, a blizzard that hit New England. So in addition to it just being late because it was also extra late because of the snowstorm.
Oh,
so I would see in
God.
my tracker, it's like currently in New Jersey. I'm like, no. So I was snowed in and just played Ghost of Tsushima, and I just I don't know, tried to keep busy and not think about not go on social media and see all the things about Pokemon.
All right. Ghost of Tsushima. How far are you in that game?
I only just started Act 2.
Okay. I can't say nothing.
I know. I get distracted by all the side quests, or I want to look for all the hot springs and do all the haikus. So I put a lot of hours into it, and I realized, oh my gosh, I still have 2 more acts. I think, right? It's 3 total acts.
Yes,
Yeah.
3 total. Yes.
But I love it.
That's good. Jacob, how was your weekend?
My weekend was a lot like Greysun's. I played Pokemon for 24 hours straight, and then I continued to play Pokemon and watched, I'll say anime. I watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Becca and I have started watching Yu-Gi-Oh! Again, and so we did that for a little bit. We're also watching Sword Art Online, but I've never seen it before, and she has, and I was like, I can't play this game and watch Sword Art Online because I haven't seen it. Yu-Gi-Oh! It was. But yeah, it was good. No, yeah, 24 hours straight of Pokemon. And I'm still not sick of it. It's all I want to do.
That's awesome.
Well, for me, outside of working, I actually got all my Switch games from my old Switch transferred to my OLED.
Nice.
And playing Pokemon Legends on my OLED on my TV and at work. It looks really beautiful. Chris, love it. We'll speak more about that. And then I was just like, wait a minute, I'm missing the game. And come to find out, I forgot to put Just Shapes and Beats on there. So I just re-downloaded that game to my Switch. And just so super happy with it. And then, because Stephanie, Grace, and Jacob, y'all going to be happy about this. So I had some extra time off of work this week. So my boss is getting some other shift leads from different stores to come in. So she gave me Friday and Saturday off.
Nice.
So I gotta see what happens. I'm like, you know what? We all should maybe do a game night or 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 something.
Yeah.
I'm so down with that. Cause I don't get to game with you guys or anything. I know Grayson. We have to run some Monster Hunter. You too, Jacob.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
That'd be fun.
Yes. Stephanie, we have some Mario Party, Super Mario Party, and man, I wonder if I'm gonna have to give you my PSN code. I wonder if we could do Ghost of Tsushima online. The must
Legends mode.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see if we can make that work.
Yeah, because I haven't got the podcast with you guys. I haven't got the game with you guys. You know, only see you guys like once every blue moon. Besides Jacob, you know, me and Grayson had a beautiful breakfast. We told that breakfast was so good. I may have to hit you up, be like, "Are you free? Can I come up to the city to come see you?"
Yeah, of course.
So, and everything. And last but not least, Stephanie, I just heard the Legend of Zelda episode from another Zelda podcast, the quiz episode.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my goodness! I'm like, I had been waiting for it to drop and forgot. I didn't even know it dropped or anything. And I was listening to it. I was just like, oh, this was so much fun, and I cannot wait to see when you guys come back to the city. And everything. But everybody, we're gonna get into Snacktendo. Jacob, what have you been snacking on?
Well, Ed, I haven't really been snacking on anything super interesting. I did make taco soup last night. Just a bunch of beans and not peas, corn and some other things, ranch packets and taco packets and stuff. I don't have the recipe. Becca has it. But I did make that. It was really, really good. I opted in to use her recipe uses a mild taco sauce or taco seasoning packet, and I opted in to use hot because I really like spicy food, even though they're not good for my stomach. And so that's actually reheating now on the slow cooker as well, and it's like filling up my house with that smell again. So I'm excited to eat that after this.
Oh, nice. Grayson, what have you been snacking on?
Yeah, I haven't really been snacking too much on stuff, but I did want to mention one thing I thought was really cool and interesting. So whenever we go to Trader Joe's now, which I go often, they have a really good snacks, like pretty often like kind of healthier snacks than like other places. But I got a bag of they're vegan pork rinds, porkless pork rinds. And they're pretty much just like seasoned, pretty spicy rice cakes. And I heard from someone like a YouTuber I watch, and they're really good. So we had a bag of those. I finished those earlier today, and I'll probably get like another bag when I go back to Trader Joe's because they're so good and they're not. I usually don't like spicy stuff, but they're like just the perfect amount of spice where I'm not like choking on it, but it tastes really good. Yeah, they honestly taste like it's funny because I don't really like regular pork rinds that much. I just heard these were good, so I tried them. So yeah, that's something I was snacking on. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I've just been like trying to cook some like more intense recipes the last few days. I downloaded this new app that's like supposed to help you learn cooking techniques and things. So I made this North Indian dish. This is probably not how you pronounce it, but it's like aloo gobi or something, and it's just like this mixture that you make, really seasoned with a lot of different spices. It was made of cauliflower and potatoes, and it's we ate it with raita, which is like a tzatziki kind of sauce, or with naan bread, which was like one of the best things I've ever cooked in my life. It came out so good. Yeah, it was great.
Sounds delicious.
Great.
Yeah.
Grayson, I have to ask because the last time you were on here, you had pesto sauce all the time on everything. Are you
The
still
eggs.
doing that? Are you still doing?
No, that was
Okay.
like a fad for me. Like,
Okay.
I do have pesto sauce.
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
haven't made pesto eggs in a long time.
Yeah, I was your Twitter posts were making me hungry for making pesto.
Yeah, it's still that's still a very good way to switch up your eggs if you're kind of getting tired of eating the same thing in the morning. But yeah, that's it.
Stephanie, what have you been stacking on?
Well, real quick, speaking of eggs, it was on sale and I was at Whole Foods and I, decided to indulge and treat myself. I got Just Egg, which is a vegan egg substitute.
Oh,
It's actually pretty good. I like my egg burritos, my breakfast burritos in the morning. Anyway, I celebrated Chinese New Year's Eve, so to speak, tonight. That's why I could only hop on at exactly 8:30. I went to my parents with my son and my mom whipped up this fabulous feast of all kinds of, Chinese New Year food, like, sausage, whole fish. We had sea bass. We had dumplings. Just
Sounds
all
so
sorts
good.
of deliciousness, and like even this like garlic pea shoot dish. So it's just a dish of pea shoots, but like it's sautéed with garlic, so it's so delicious. And then for dessert, we just had ice cream and a 7-layer cake, just to throw that in there.
Yes.
So yeah, we go all out for Chinese New Year, and it was just an absolute blast. All that food was great. So that's not really a snack. That's a meal, but
Counts.
I rarely get to eat authentic Chinese food, so I just am very grateful and I'm lucky to have it. On the snack front, I've just been chowing away at smart food. I'm very addicted to the popcorn.
God.
Yeah.
You get the white cheddar.
Yes,
ones?
that's
Oh
my
God, it's so good.
favorite. Yeah, so I've just been kind of sticking with that.
There's a right cheddar and caramel one mixed together, and I cannot find it.
Oh, okay.
That doesn't sound appetizing to me.
They keep sending at my job. They keep sending us as an advertisement. Like, here's a sticker. I'm like, we don't sell this. Y'all keep sending us something we don't sell. So of course I'm gonna have to hit the good old store in Kenosha and see what they got and everything.
And lastly, I baked blueberry scones.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, can't go wrong with old-fashioned scones. I haven't baked in a long time, and I just use these like a gigantic bag of frozen organic blueberries, and it's very refreshing.
Nice.
So,
Yes.
that's what I've been snacking on. How about you, Ed?
Well, for me, I've been eating more of the Kit Kat strawberry dark chocolate. Those things are so good. I ended up going to my nearest grocery store, and one day I just because I didn't eat at work one day because I was just doing tags and getting stuff ready for the next day. Went to my local grocery store, and they make this ham and cheese sub sandwich that is just amazing. And they had some what I do is I bought the sub, but I also bought some Italian dressing that you're supposed to put on salads. But I used that to put it in my bread to make it more soft, put it on a sandwich, and just go, and just ate it, and it tasted so good. But I was telling the guys before the show that there is a Eggo waffle flavor Pop-Tart.
What?
Yeah.
Yes. I have not tried it yet, but I have it. And the reason why I didn't try it, and I'm excited to try it, I've been sitting in my room resting, playing Pokemon. I've been kind of having a little bit of knee problems, a little bit, nothing too serious or anything, but I was just like, I'm not going to be walking or getting down, or anything. So I'm just going to let my knee rest and heal and everything. So I didn't try to really move or anything. But yeah, that's what I am excited to try this. I was at the grocery store and I seen it, and I looked, I went past and then walked my tail backwards and just like, wait a minute, does that says Eggo Pop-Tarts? Oh, I'm gotta get this. So I told a friend and I told Lamont about it, and they were just like, yeah, go back and get it and let us know. So I'm going to try it. And I'll give you my impressions next time. Or you guys can follow me on Twitter, and I'll get that at the end. You guys will be able to see it and stuff. But I did have some fried rice and some chicken lo mein.
Mhm.
The holiness that's in the anointing. Like I told like I told Jacob, I was just like, there's some food that's so heavenly that you when you taste it, you just be like, ooh, the anointings in this and everything. And look at Grayson, Grayson about about it. We have talked about it. But yeah, that's gonna be like my Snacktendo. So
Very nice.
everybody, Jacob, do you see in the chat any Snacktendos? Anyone been snacking or anything?
I'm not seeing any Snacktendo mentions in Snack today.
Ah, okay. I know Shane. He had some kind of meal. Like I think he had some kind of meal that looked real good. I have to go back and look it out. But Shane has already posted something really good to eat. So, go ahead.
Restray in the chat says that they've been eating Takis.
Ooh.
I've never had Takis. I hear
Me either.
that they're good. A lot of people have them. But I've also heard that apparently it's like only the flavoring is good. The chip itself isn't that great.
Oh. Huh.
I don't know.
They sell.
Yeah. Very popular, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, everybody, it's time for Game Fact Events. And Stephanie, you have the Game Fact Events. So, Stephanie, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, thank you very much. So because we are celebrating Pokemon and all things great with Pokemon Arceus, sorry, I decided to tell you all about Arceus. I mean, other than kind of what's obvious and already known about it. So just a bit of an introduction for those maybe who don't know Pokemon as well as the diehards. Arceus first appeared in the 4th generation games, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, as a legendary Pokemon. It's technically a normal type, but it can change to any different type that it wants. And I'm quoting from, by the way, I have this book, the Super Deluxe edition handbook something. All right, anyway, in there it says, quote, in mythology of the Sinnoh region, Arceus emerged from its egg into complete nothingness and then shaped the world and everything in it. So when I read that, it made me want to dig into about Arceus a bit more. So here's just some 2 little tidbits about it. So many people theorize the breakdown of its name. I know some Pokemon names are just kind of really out there and just don't make much sense. But in this case, the Arc prefix is commonly referred to as the highest of any caste, so like at the highest level. And then Eus was likely inspired by the word deus, which is a Latin word for God, although other people also interpret the Eos as a reference to Zeus. Obviously, if you think about it, it's not pronounced the same way, so maybe people are reaching there, but I do think it's very interesting given that, there is something very, celestial and omnipowerful about it. And then lastly, the design of Arceus is unique. It does have a horse-like shape, but it's also, did you know, loosely based on Qi-Lin, a mythological creature steeped in Chinese mythology. Qi-Lin has been described, personally love it or hate it, I think it's a bit cheesy, as a Chinese unicorn. Just being part Chinese, when I hear Chinese unicorn, it just sounds like a weird descriptor, but that's what they say. With a long, slender neck, Qi-Lin also resembles a horse, but has a head of a dragon, complete with a mane, antlers, and a tail. So they're thinking it was loosely modeled after that. In mythology, if you see Qi-Lin, it brings good luck, protection, and often signals the coming of a sage. So it makes you think, given how Pokemon Arceus begins, are you some sort of, sage, but not really sage? Like, are you someone special heralding something? And lastly, did anyone see Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings?
I just watched it last week.
Yeah, I'm not spoiling anything, but that you do see a creature in the end, and that is believed to be a depiction of a Qi-Ling.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah,
that's so neat.
So there you go. Hopefully that was an interesting one for you guys.
Yes. And everybody, we do have an announcement about Game Fact Events. That Stephanie presented our last Game Fact events. Unfortunately, we are closing the door on that. We are cutting the power off and taking the cartridge out.
Like,
We've run out of
we-
batteries.
yes, we may come back to it later on in the year, but today was our final segment for Game Fact events. So hopefully you guys did enjoy it. Hopefully you guys let us know how you guys felt about it. And if you guys ever want to send us a Game Fact events, send it. You can send it to us on our Twitter page or on our Discord. But everybody, you know what time it is. It's time for Faminews. Yes, and I have some new releases now. Everybody, please understand. There are about 15 games that is releasing on Nintendo Switch, and majority of them are indie. So only decided to choose 3 of them. The first release is called Carrot's Crypt. Even Death May Die. That is the name. What it is a non-linear dungeon crawler Metroidvania full of puzzles and challenges, and it's for $12.70. It's releasing Tuesday, February 2nd. February 1st. It is releasing. You can check it out on the eShop. What's cool about it is that the screen, it has this old 8-bit style, but it's in a Game Boy.
oh, that's
Like
cool.
the screen itself or the
outside. So you'll see the video game like it's like in a square that you like actually will play, but it's supposed to represent that you're playing the game on the Game Boy
I
Color.
see.
Huh. Okay.
Interesting.
So
Piqued my interest.
yes. Our second game is called Yay Yay Be Bliss. The second. Oh,
The second?
Sorry. Yay Yay Be Bliss 2. And it's the sequel to a game considered as lost media. So there was never a first game. You fight evil as Kiyonshi Hugh and Jiangxi Bo as you save the world. It's $9.99. It's coming out February 2nd. That's going to be a Wednesday. It's kind of almost like a one-screen platformer. Once again, you can check it out on the eShop. And kind of one of the big games that is coming is Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishment for $25.49 on February 3rd. You play as Sherlock Holmes solving various crimes. This game has been out on Xbox and PlayStation. So it is kind of an older game, but it's been ported to the Switch. Kind of want to ask you guys, what you think of these 3? Are you going to look at them? Are you going to be like, that looks interesting, I may come back to it, wish list it, or are you going to be like, this is not for me? Any thoughts?
none of them for me. I'm too busy being wrapped up in Pokemon, and then Kirby comes out in March, and I just there's too much going on to give any time to any right now.
Yeah,
Alright.
for me, like some of these are interesting, like Sherlock Holmes, and I just looked up Karen's Crypt, and I love the graphics, and I do see how it looks like you're playing on a Game Boy. But similar to what Jacob said, like January was kind of my only real dry month where I actually caught up on a backlog of things, and it's not even like, oh, indie games or not, but like, there's Pokemon, Kirby, Sifu, and Stray. At some like I can keep going, like it's just.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I might, like you said, I might favorite them and just keep them on my list. So, like, I don't know, in 2 years, I can go back to it, So,
What about you, Grayson?
Yeah, I'm just kind of in the same boat. There's a lot of stuff coming out this month, and these aren't really like my type of games. Like I looked up the Crypt game and the Yeah BBs or whatever, and they're not really my type of thing. Like if I were to commit to like a smaller like indie game, it would be something like what Stephanie mentioned, like a Stray or something like that. But yeah, they're not gonna be on my radar.
Yeah, I'm kind of skipping these games also because Dying Light 2 is coming out Friday, so still working on Pokemon. and still getting some other things together, and want to do Dying Light 2 because at this time being, I think I'm the only one that's getting it for right now. So I kind of want to play it and be able to do a review for it. So I'm skipping it so for some games this week, unless Nintendo does Nintendo Direct that we don't know about on a Wednesday or Thursday and start dropping stuff and be like, what is this? Yeah, let me download it.
Yeah. Is that the is it Dying Light? You said, is that the one that could be like 500 hours if you wanted to?
Yes.
100% it. So
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
wow.
Crazy.
So real quick, TMNT Dorko one. I think that's Lamont, right? He also mentioned Triangle Strategy in the list of games that are hot on people's list to play, and I forgot about that. Can't forget about Triangle Strategy.
Yeah, that's March is bunkers too. Just like, oh goodness, like, cause I know definitely in May I got to make sure that all my Monster Hunter stuff is good to go. Cause
Oh my
man,
god,
the DLC for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak,
Yep.
if that mug drop in June, I already know me, Grayson, Jacob, LeBron, like definitely us four are picking it up. I'm just waiting for pre-sales to come so I could just be like, yep, let me order it right there. And everything.
Yeah, they don't have to show me anything.
No, yeah, I was bought it. They didn't even have to show the dragon. They could have just been like, here's Sunbreak, and I'm like, okay, great.
Yeah,
here's my money.
More Monster Hunter. Yep, I'll pay $60 again if you really want me to.
Yeah.
I got to ask my laptop desktop screen on
Nice.
it. But we're gonna get into some more Faminews, everybody. So it seems that Koei Tecmo has some really good sale numbers for Fatal Frame and for with their other game that, trust me, I didn't know what this game was until I looked it up. But Blue Reflection Second Light, it came out on Switch, PS4, and PC, and it's an anime-style JRPG. And it's also a standalone sequel. This game did 120,000 units. But what is interesting is that Fatal Frame Made in the Black Water, which is a re-release from the Wii U version that came out on Switch and PS4, it did 340,000 copies across all platforms. And what's interesting about this is that Nintendo owns the property of this game, but they seem to make an agreement with Koei Tecmo to allow it to be on other platforms. So I kind of want to ask you guys, can you see more games doing this, like stuff that Nintendo has partnered with? Them being allowed to be on other platforms, because I wonder if this is what the same thing happened with Wonderful 101. Stephanie, what do you think?
I'm not too familiar with this aspect, but my gut instinct is to think, if it's a partnership, I would say it's a possibility that we could see games like this be on other platforms. But if it has anything to do with their own IPs, what I mean, like Zelda, Mario, Kirby, like I don't think that's ever going to be seen anywhere, as much as I'd like to. Like, for example, PC, like I just think that would be they're missing out a whole revenue stream there. I just don't see Nintendo doing that. But for something like this, where they partnered with Koei Tecmo, it's possible. They've done it once before, they'll do it again, just not with their money makers,
Yeah. Jacob, what did you think about these numbers?
I mean, it's kind of, to me, it feels like a little typical for Fatal Frame. Maybe a little bit better, just because there's a lot more people gaming now. But I agree with Steph in that, like, I don't think that this is a surprising thing for Nintendo, because I don't think they really, like, I think they cherish Fatal Frame as like something that's kind of unique for them in their catalog of games, but I don't think they cherish it in a way that, like, they keep it close to their heart and they don't let other people play with it. And I remember there being rumors kind of similar with Astral Chain, where like Astral Chain was made by Platinum Games, but it's a Nintendo IP, but we could see it show up on other systems as well one day. So it's a similar situation to that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about you, Grayson? What did you think?
That Fatal Frame game only came out in Japan, right, for the Switch?
No, it came out here in America too.
Really?
Yeah, it's on the eShop.
I totally missed out on that. I thought it was just the Wii U in America and they brought it to the Switch. Okay, yeah, so like I don't think Nintendo, like what Jacob was saying, I don't think they really care much about Fatal Frame because it's not part of their established catalog of IP. It's not Mario, it's not Zelda, it's not Splatoon. Those games are never coming to PlayStation or Xbox, at least, until Nintendo gets bought out or something tomorrow by Microsoft. But yeah, Fatal Frame has always been like that niche franchise, and I think because Nintendo like took ownership of it so late in the game, kind of, they probably don't feel like it's part of their, their it's not one of their marquee titles. So they're probably like, oh yeah, you guys can do whatever you want with that. Like that's not our million seller thing for us. So it's a horror game too, which is like Nintendo doesn't have first party horror, like straight up horror games. And personally, like I hope we get more Fatal Frame games because I played one on the Wii, I think. I forgot which one, but it was pretty good and they're really scary. And it would be cool to get like more of those and possibly like get more people on board with the series so you can see it like have its like moment in the sun, because the horror games are really popular now with Phasmophobia and stuff like that. So I think it could potentially do well if it's like marketed correctly, or maybe it needs like some type of reboot or something like that.
That's a good point, Grayson, because I know Nintendo likes keeping, a family-friendly, primary like player base, which I think they still should do. But if they could incorporate horror, they just would need to focus on more like psychological horror. So like maybe they don't need to get into body horror, but there's like there's different ways to portray a horror game,
Yeah, there's
they could totally make like a Luigi's Mansion. Like Luigi's Mansion is probably the closest they've gotten to that, but I think they could totally have like a horror game that's not like rated M, basically.
I mean, they had Eternal Darkness.
Which that was such a long time ago now.
I know that, but that needs a remake so it could come out on Switch and just scare everybody. With it. I think these are good numbers because I know definitely for Fatal Frame, Water Black Maiden, it sold really, really low. It didn't sell very well. So to see that it did 320,000 copies across Switch and PS4, I'm really happy about hearing that number. Good numbers for good sales for niche games is always a plus in my book. But speaking of PlayStation, it seems that MLB The Show 22 is swinging on Nintendo Switch on April 5th. And our very own boss man, Corey Derrick, reported on the story on bossfish.net, so you guys can read it. It seems that last year we missed MLB 21 in December of 2019. That's when MLB and Sony made the announcement that the show was going to multi-platform, and we didn't get the past games, and Microsoft got 21 and how that came to Game Pass. But now we are officially getting the game with it. I love the box cover of this. It looks really good, and the person that they got the cover on is Shohei Ohtani?
Ohtani?
Ohtani? Yeah. He is the cover. I love that red that's on it. It looks really, really good because a lot of the show has been a black background. So this one looks really colorful with it. And this game is dropping on all platforms, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch, all on April 5th. What did you guys think when you heard the news? Like, I was shocked because it just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, my jaw dropped. I was like, wow, really? I mean, not that I it's just not my type of game to play, but you see, even for someone who doesn't get into those games, I was shocked that our Switch was a platform that would be under. But honestly, I'm just happy. I'm happy that everyone can play on whatever system they want to, and anyone that's going to play it on the Switch, let me know how it runs. I'd be curious. I'm not going to make that joke like, haha, it doesn't work well on the Switch because the Switch sucks with technology. Well, but I'm just genuinely curious, like how it would run on the Switch, because I don't know. I think the portability would be a great plus, and I just don't know
Mhm.
the statistics on, is that a game that would require a lot of power to play? That's all.
Yeah. Jacob, what do you think?
I had two thoughts. The first thought was I thought they announced this a long time ago. I'm not entirely sure why it's a big deal. I didn't realize that it got announced in 2019, didn't come out in 2021, and now it's finally on the Switch. So I didn't even pay attention to that. My second thought was, where is Super Mario Sluggers?
Mm,
Because I want
Good point.
I want that. Not
Somewhere.
I'm excited for MLB because my brother and I will play MLB a lot on gaming, but I more so want Sluggers.
I would buy Sluggers if that
I would
Yeah,
happened.
me too.
Yeah.
What about you, Grayson?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big sports guy, but but I also didn't really see this as a surprise because when they announced last year that it was coming to Xbox and stuff, I'm like, it's probably gonna come to Switch. I'm just worried that it'll, like, I'm happy it's releasing on the same day, but I really hope they don't mess it up and like leave out some mode out of the Switch version, or like, like, because a lot of sports games that come to Switch, like I think FIFA was one of them, where like they literally just put the same game out like
Mhm.
for the next year's version, and
Yeah.
and IGN literally gave it like the same review. They posted the same exact review for the game last year for the new game, which is awesome and funny.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I hope it's on par with the other with the others. Like, I know it's not gonna look as good as the PS5, obviously, in the Series X, but if they can have like a steady frame rate, like having
Mhm.
that portability, like Stephanie said, would be really cool. If you have like an actual competent like baseball game on the go, you know.
Yeah, it is Shohei Otani. That's the name. So it is. That's he's the cover athlete. I think it's gonna do well if they get it 30 frames per second. Hopefully, Sony
Yeah.
San Diego like really focus on the Switch and just give it up to a good quality. Because the thing with the MLB the Show is that when it first was just coming out to Xbox, people were making a big deal about the game, and it's coming to Game Pass, and it was just like, haha, Sony, you're gonna miss out on all of this. And then the game drops on PlayStation and Xbox, and it went quiet. The discussion about that game literally went quiet. Like, I don't even think anyone talked about it, even for Game of the Year nominations for sports. Like, didn't no one say anything about it? So now seeing it on Switch, I think a lot of people going to be like, you know what? I got my Switch on the go. I got my got my OLED. Maybe my brother got my old Switch, or he got a light. We both got MLB The Show. We're going to a baseball game. So while it's taking breaks in the games, maybe we could pull out our Switch and play it. You know, while I'm on the train going to the Cubs game, maybe I could pull out my Switch and play it. I think more people are going to be buying this game because it's now going to be portable for people to take anywhere and go. And with the updated roster and everything, I think it's gonna what's gonna probably happen is that it's gonna sell well on PlayStation. People are gonna play it on Game Pass, but I think most of the sales are gonna come for Switch. I have a feeling that a lot of people are gonna be picking this up. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going.
Oh, no, because I think a lot of people are going to be like, I'm a baseball fan and a gamer who loves sports. I could take this on the go. Maybe it might help sell Switches. Maybe it, getting it for the kids and for the family and stuff. I think more people are going to experience it. And you got the Joy-Con, so there might be some everybody doing the motion of swinging a bat and everything, like a lot of could be happening with this. It was kind of surprising to see that when Nintendo released the trailer today that you saw the PlayStation logo, and I thought that was really cool to see that, you know for for Sony to be like, this is kind of like the games that we want to see when developers could put all of their games on different platforms. And although you'll see that your not competition, but the other first party logo on their system, you kind of get me like, man, maybe there is a chance that we may see something from Nintendo on Sony and Microsoft's platform. And it's treated as a third party game on their platform, but a first party on ours. Even though that's Japan and everything, you never know. There may be Mario Kart that may come to PlayStation and Xbox. You know, maybe Microsoft pays some money to be like, hey, can we get Mario to do a track, or maybe see a Mario track in Forza Horizon 6? Maybe you see one in Gran Turismo. You know, who knows? There's a lot of possibilities that can happen. But I think this is cool. I'm pre-ordering the game and I'm excited. This is going to be kind of my first baseball game that I brought. And kind of like uh, uh, a long time that I bought a sports game. I think the last one I brought was Capcom Football for the Super Nintendo, NFL football.
Oh wow.
Just wanted to chime in for something Grayson said, that it is missing at least one feature right out the bat. Sony announced that it wasn't going to have Stadium Creator, and I'm not entirely sure how important that is about being able to make your own stadium to people who are interested in the game. But that they said that and others. So we don't know exactly how many are going to be missing.
Okay. Well, speaking of Nintendo, and them being kind of, you know, a little bit naughty, I should say, uh, they have taken down 1,300 YouTube videos due to copyright strike for their music. The story is reported on Game Rant. And it says Nintendo blocks over 1,300 YouTube videos featuring its copyrighted soundtracks. Nintendo once again takes action against content creators on YouTube for using its copyright soundtracks in their videos. And they kind of did it because people were making money off of their soundtrack, off of their video game music. And so Nintendo hit a lot of people with some copyright strikes, maybe some DMCAs, and taking some of those videos down. But 1,300, and I know a lot of people are mad at Nintendo, but you kind of know the risk of, you know, of it's their music and it's their, you know, and they got the copyright to it. They have a right to do that. Grayson, what are your thoughts about this?
My biggest issue with this, what Nintendo does, is that they don't have the music available like on streaming services. They don't have like an easy way for Nintendo fans to listen to like the music that they love, that they've been listening to since they were kids, you know. And the fact that they're just removing all of this stuff, it's like, where am I supposed to go when I want to listen to like Breath of the Wild relaxing, you know, soundtrack, 2-hour mix, you know, stuff like that. And really YouTube is the only way to get that's type of content. So like, of course I understand, you know, why they're doing it, because they have, it's their product, it's their copyright, it's copyrighted material, so they can do that, you know, they can just take it on whatever they want. But you know, at the same time, it's like they just need to find a way to let people listen to their music officially and legally. Yeah, it's hard to talk about this, you know, because it's like, you know, yeah.
What about you, Stephanie?
Well, yeah, I feel very passionate about it both ways. And I think I've heard this stance before on Pow Block. As much as people kind of want to, you know, blame Nintendo for coming down really hard on people through various means, bottom line, it's a business. It's their stuff. So like I can't poo-poo that, because it's their business. But at the same time, you know, same thing that Grayson mentioned, and now maybe either of you guys can ask me this, because I'm not really savvy with YouTube business, whatever. Is there a way for people to, for example, post the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time soundtrack just for people to listen and enjoy and not collect money? Or like,
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm actually reading the article, and it says in response to this, the YouTuber in question stated that he does not monetize the videos of the game soundtracks that he posts, and he only posts them to YouTube, as there is currently no other way to listen to the soundtracks without playing the games themselves. So yeah, so even though he was not making any money at all from these videos, Nintendo is still taking them down because of the, you know, of the copyright.
Okay. I think
Yeah,
that's kind
so
of where
it's
I'm
like,
in the middle. Like,
yeah,
if people are monetizing it, fair game, totally get it. If they're playing the music and they just have, I don't know, a screenshot in the background, I personally just don't see the harm in that because it. Ocarina of Time is the soundtrack that I used to play over and over again, and I'd go to YouTube because there's no other way for me to get it. And if I really wanted to buy it, I think to get that it's like $60. Like,
Yeah, I think the thing about this is that if you kind of want Nintendo music, you kind of got to do a cover of it. You got to kind of do a hip hop mix or a rock jingle. Like if you could do covers, I think Nintendo can't really say anything because even though it is a cover, they didn't produce it or anything.
no,
And you could
it's just
change
inspired.
Yeah,
It's just
right.
inspired
And-
by like the source.
And you could literally change some of the arrangements. You could take it up a few keys and do something completely different. You know, make your own remix to their original soundtrack. As long as you just don't have that 8-bit sound or anything, or maybe you might have an 8-bit sound, maybe like a ghetto house track. So you might have like a Legend of Zelda and some girl dropping her booty down to the floor. I don't know, like they could have some kind of craziness, but Nintendo can't do nothing about that because it's a cover, it's a remix, it's something that you are inspired from, but it's created. They can't sue you or do anything about that. If you definitely when you put it in a different key, they can't do nothing about that. Jacob, thoughts?
Yeah, so I'm at the point where I'm just like kind of tired of the whole speculation thing because like for a long time they would do this and everyone would be like, oh well, maybe it means they're making their own way for us to do it, and then nothing would happen. And then eventually over time people would start to release them onto YouTube again, and then they're taken down again and nothing happens. It's just annoying. It's like, you know, it's weird because I very much am on the side of like Nintendo is a business. They don't care about us as the people. It's not a friendly relationship. They want money. We give them money. That's the relationship. But it's weird when they take away free things, but then don't have a way that don't make anybody money, but then don't have a way to let us pay them to have those things.
Right.
It's just a very strange business, and I don't know. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Jacob.
Well, I don't know if it's because they're like trying to figure out the best way to do it, and they just can't settle on anything. I don't know if they, like they released the Mario Odyssey soundtrack, and then nothing else. No other game got released on iTunes ready for people to buy, and it's just I'm not sure what the holdup is, and I don't enjoy having to like fight this fight constantly with them.
Yeah.
Right. And I think it's more of a popularity thing that this is always happening, that Nintendo's music is just kind of popular. Something about it just grabs people. Because I'm like, why is it Sony and Microsoft doing anything when their music is up on YouTube or anything? Because I don't see none of their soundtracks on iTunes and Spotify, or I'm not looking enough or anything. I don't see their video game soundtracks on there and stuff. So, I know they're on YouTube, but like, I guess people don't pay attention to. Oh, is it that their music is not as iconic or historic as Nintendo's?
I don't know.
know.
I think I think it might just be that like we might not be the audience within that realm, because I know like just today I personally have never listened to a Hollow Knight soundtrack before, but just today I was listening to one based off of the recommendation from somebody in my community, Otter Kingdom, and it's a great song, but I never would have thought to listen to it. So maybe that sort of music is out there, and we're just not the audience that are wanting to play it.
Yeah, I just looked up on Spotify, and there are official soundtracks for Horizon, God of War, and The Last of Us Part 2. So I think Sony is making a quite pretty good money from having these on Spotify and probably Apple Music or other streaming places. So I'm sure when people put up the YouTube videos of Horizon Zero Dawn soundtrack, they don't care because they're like, well, we already made our money from this. And people are not uploading Horizon soundtracks as much as they are Zelda soundtracks and Mario soundtracks. So those games just have like, I'm not saying Horizon doesn't have good music, but those series have been around for longer, and there's much more music to listen to.
Yeah.
And we know that Sony has Columbia, even though that's different from from the company, because Sony does have a music division, so they probably
Mhm.
have a
a good
relationship
point.
with Apple's. They probably have a better relationship with Apple and Spotify or any kind of music streaming service and stuff.
Yeah, just the music
And-
industry in general. You know, they're more attached to that. When Nintendo's not really, they don't know. They're just a game maker that's now like making movies and stuff. You know.
And
Yes.
a couple comments from the chat. TMNT Dork says Phoenix Wright isn't playing around. About in regards to Nintendo's
The
lawyers.
law.
Yeah. Aaron says maybe release the soundtracks for purchase or make their own YouTube playlist. That would be the best of both worlds, where you could get it for free if you wanted it, or you could buy it and actually own it without having to be the internet. And then Restray talks about how no, she wouldn't be dancing to a Zelda booty shaking bop. As per Ed,
goes really
Restray's
good,
Restray's also the one who showed me the Hollow Knight song, so shout out to Restray there
Nice.
as well. And then also from TMNT Dork talking about how it reminds him a lot of the Etika Joy-Con situations, where they, you know, we've seen this a lot from Nintendo, where they go after things that they're allowed to go after, but sometimes it's a little scummy where you're like, Nintendo, why couldn't you just let that be? But you know, they're allowed to. It's we can't argue with it.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, that has been Faminews. Now it's time for Dark Mode. Pokemon Legends Arceus is finally in the hands of gamers and fans of the series. We have played, seen tweets, and watched videos, and we're here to give our impressions about the game and what the future holds for Pokemon. Are you ready, elite Poke trainers? Let's go! Pika Pika! So, it's time to talk about Pokemon Legends Arceus. The game came out Friday. And man, it just seems that people have given in, buying the game on the eShop. They still going to the stores, buying it now, just enjoying it. But we're going to give our impressions of this game. I'm going to start with you, Stephanie, because I know you just got the game. But did you get any chance to spend any time with it?
Yeah, so I might not be able to contribute as much, but I did get it in the mail today, finally. And I was still working today, but I also played
Wink.
Arceus too. So I was able to, get through like the initial, training stage and tutorial and stuff like that, and I was like just about to really start. And then I had my dinner, so I at least got my first taste of it. And I don't know if like how in depth you want me to go now, but well, first of all, tutorial section, right? I think it was pretty well done. Because for me, for example, I'm a Pokemon fan, but I've just been out of that realm for a long time. Played Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, like 2 generations worth. And I got into the trading card game. Like I actually collected cards. I watched the TV show. But like after the second generation, I just like got overwhelmed with the number of Pokemon and I fell off the map. And so when I saw Arceus, I'm like, and I know it sounds cliche, whoa, Breath of the Wild Pokemon. I gotta try, I was impressed. So the tutorial was very friendly for people that might be brand spanking new to Pokemon, or skippable to the veterans. I was blown away by the graphics. I'm not sure. Didn't people like kind of poo poo on the graphics when I was trying honestly to avoid all the spoilery type stuff?
Mhm.
But I mean, yeah, it's not like what's that car racing game on Xbox that everyone
Forza
Forza
Horizon.
Horizon.
Forza.
Like
Oh.
you can see every blade of grass and every needle on a cactus, but I don't need that for Pokemon. It's a particular art style. So just because it doesn't look like the trees you see outside doesn't mean it's not good graphics. It's colorful, it's gorgeous. The music, oh, I want the soundtrack to this.
So
This
good.
is what I want. And I'll stop there and kind of see what else you guys thought. And then later I also want to know which Pokemon you guys chose to start.
Okay. Grayson, what was your first impression when you like popped it in and you start the game?
Yeah, I mean, I like what Stephanie was saying. I think this game looks great. Like, it doesn't look incredible. I don't think it looks like fantastic. It doesn't, break any barriers. But the art style, I think, is what really sells it for me. Like there are times when I'm just like walking around and you can see the clouds in the sky and the trees are like have like this fall color to them, and it's really pretty. And the fact that you can like throw out your Pokemon and sort of interact with them a little bit is really cool. And I've taken a lot of screenshots already and stuff. But no, I mean I've before this game came out, I've like really sunk myself into the spoilers just because it's for work too, because I'm doing guides for the game, so it's my job to kind of know beforehand and prep myself. But yeah, I watched like how to catch Pokemon, how to do all these things, and I think this game is just like this is really good, and I think it makes just the right amount of changes to the Pokemon formula where it doesn't feel like any previous game before. It just feels like its own new, fresh thing. And like the tutorial is really good and like I think necessary, because there are a lot of things that even veteran Pokemon players are going to go into this and not know what to do, because the game does not. It changes everything about Pokemon, like the crafting mechanics, like the way you just be able to catch Pokemon out in the wild, be able to move during battles. Like it's awesome, and I'm having such a blast playing it. And I'm like thinking about playing it when I'm not playing it, and like I think I'm like 15 hours in maybe, and I just can't wait to keep exploring and catching all the Pokemon and filling out the Pokedex and everything. But so far, 2 thumbs up.
Yes, Jacob, what was your impressions when you first booted up the game?
Yeah, so I got into the Prelude Beach and like immediately started moving the camera around and just freaked out about that for a few seconds. I'm like, whoa, I've totally free roaming camera. I was very much one of the people at the very beginning when they announced it of like, this game looks like garbage, because it did. I don't know why they chose to do this, but like there was specifically a Chingling that looked like a GIF in a video. Like they looked like they uploaded a GIF into their game. I'm like, that's good enough. And it still does. If you're far enough away, render distance makes things very choppy, very, very minimal. But that's not necessarily the Pokemon Company problem. That's kind of based off of the Switch, but they could have found ways to make it a little bit better. But none of that takes away from the gameplay, and or from like the score of the game, I guess is what I'm trying to say. None of it really takes away from how I feel about the game. I've never been a huge graphics person, but man, like I've been thinking about it a lot, and kind of similar to what Greysun said, is that like it brought so many changes and so much quality of life to Pokemon as a whole, that if they go back to the regular style for Gen 9, I honestly did it freeze again? Or did I just lose Greysun? Okay. No, no.
You're breaking up a little bit.
Sorry. I don't know what's going on with my Skype. If they brought it back to regular Pokemon style for Gen 9, I'd be kind of disappointed. Like the quality of life changes in this are so good that I don't want them to go away. And even though this might be a spin-off, I want the mechanics of this game to be brought into the next generation. Last thing that I want to say is I don't know why everyone's so excited about moving around during battle. I don't like, it's cool that you can, but like the coolest part about it to me is that you can literally run away from the battle and not have to click run. But then like I think it'd be more interesting if the Pokemon would like take turns trying to attack you. But they don't. It just works like a normal turn-based battle. You just sit there and issue.
Yeah, for me, I, went to Best Buy to go pick up my copy, and then, try to allow myself on home and put it in, did the updates and everything, and just seeing this beautiful world. And I'm like, oh, this just feels so good. And then, just like Stephanie said, the music. I started hearing the tracks, and just hearing the soundtrack when I actually got into it. I was just like, someone at the Pokemon Company been watching some chill hop music on YouTube, because if you listen to it, you could literally just relax to it and just like, oh, this is good. And then they got this like kind of jaunty it sounds like it's supposed to be a church hymn or something, like for offering, but it's not. I'm just like, because at first I thought it was only going to be like 3 songs, but when you get into the field, it changes, and they got some really good songs in here. I'm like, oh, this competition is on point and everything.
So
I'm not
good.
really. I really wasn't worried about the graphics because they have this Pokemon art style that they've even been using since the 3DS versions like Sun and Moon and stuff. They just got a particular look to it. So seeing that this simple and clean um world, just like, it doesn't bother me. I want to go on a hunt. I'm trying to collect these Pokemon. I'm trying to fight them. I see this one Pokemon with red eyes, so I'm dipping off to the left so it don't get me with it. So but I just been like you guys, just been like, yeah, I want to play Pokemon. I need to play Pokemon Legends, and just like having a really good time. And then when I need to take a break, I pause the game, put it in sleep mode, and then just like play something else or just rest my eyes for a quick. And but I mentioned playing it on the OLED. Man, it looks beautiful. That white
Oh,
screen. Whoo! I was just like, ooh, this nice, crisp and clear look with this color. Just looks so beautiful on the OLED. Um, with
I got
it.
a question for you guys, since you
But
guys are much more along in it than I am. I don't know if it was a fear or a complaint, because I try to tune out again a lot of stuff I see on social media, that the world would feel empty. Like when you're out exploring, like there might be a Pokemon randomly here, randomly there, and it just might be too empty. Like, so a lot of my analogies are like with Zelda, Hyrule Field and Twilight Princess. Even though Twilight Princess is a great game, one of the critiques of it was Hyrule Field, as expansive as it was at the time, there's really nothing there. Now that you guys are hours into it, do you feel like the world is fully lived in, or?
I in a way I do. I don't feel like that. I need like 15,000 Pokemon, and I need a town over here. Or
yeah.
I don't need all of that because it loses the purpose of what the game is about. You know, you out there in the field trying to do research. You're not trying to
You're not a
treat it like
trainer.
it's
You're
right.
not a trainer this time.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Weird.
It's not a traditional JRPG. I think a lot of people are trying to make it feel like it's a official Pokemon title, and it's not. It's more of a side game. And you're just doing a different gameplay of this. So I feel like it's just right because I'm like, anything could happen. Any kind of Pokemon can appear and everything. I was telling Grayson, I think I messaged Grayson saying that, man, I love the fact that I'm getting hit with like 2 Pokemon. No, it was Stray Johnson for Nintendo Man. I was just like, I love the fact that you could get double teamed by the Pokemon. He was just like, what's better is you could get triple team.
Yeah, I
And
was just about to say.
I was just like, that is going to ruin me if there's a high level. Them just taking turns beating my tail because I can't throw no other Pokemon out and everything. And so I love that randomness that this game provides for it, while still keeping that core element of what a Pokemon game is when you're doing the fighting.
Yeah, I think like for the size, for what the game is, it definitely doesn't feel empty to me. The Pokemon scattered around the world feels just right to me. It doesn't. I'm never like, oh, I wish there was more things to see. I'm like, it's Pokemon. I don't know what people who say it's empty. I'm like, what do you want there to be like a million Pokemon? You can't even move like in the area.
Right.
I'm like, and I think what Ed was saying is right. Like it would kind of ruin what this game is if you have like cities and towns, because then it's going to become more comparable to Sword and Shield type game. I think because you're a Pokemon like explorer, a researcher, basically, it's like it's all about the Pokemon. You're just capturing these Pokemon, and because of the research tasks they give you, it gives you such a reason to catch everything and to watch it do certain moves, and you're also trying to catch it without being spotted. Sometimes you're in the tall grass and you're using stealth. It's so different for Pokemon, and I think that's why I like it so much. But yeah, the world for sure. Like I don't think it feels empty at all. It's not even that massive to begin with, so I think they do a good job of filling it with the right amount of Pokemon.
Yeah. Real quick from the chat. Aaron Domingos says, "I've heard the emptiness complaint, but I don't really feel that." And then Team and T Dork says, "Empty, not really. You can listen to the sounds of the Pokemon everywhere you go." And I totally agree with that. And then also, you can feel like Steph, you said it was cheesy, but you can very much feel the influence of Breath of the Wild and of Monster Hunter and just a lot of similar games feeding into this world, because there are a lot of places where you look on your map and you go, hey, I haven't been there, I'm going to go there, and you don't really feel like there's anything, but then you get there and there's like a little secret or a little like thing that's kind of mysterious, or maybe you have to come back at a different time of day because there's a day-night cycle and the world adapts to that day-night cycle. Different Pokemon show up at different times, and while it's kind of like what Grayson's saying was like it's a Pokemon game, what sort of thing do you expect, right? Like, think about what we've gotten previously. And Pokemon Company and Game Freak aren't known for making huge leaps and bounds. They make baby steps. So they have AI that reacts to you and kind of like tries to run away from you. If they like, the Pokemon have a little bit different personality slightly, but it'd be cool to get to the point where they are more adaptive to their environment and to you, the player, moving around their environment. But empty, I don't think is the right word at all.
I'm really glad I got this feedback because, well, first of all, we all got to take what we see on social media or clickbait news sites, with a grain of salt. But I think it's very difficult to achieve the right balance, especially in one of those open world environments. So it makes sense to me. And, to you, Jacob, with the whole like Breath of the Wild, Monster Hunter kind of influence, it's one of those tactics that could go really well, or it could crash and burn. And I feel like in this case, the developers for Legends Arceus, it's going to make it a big success.
And definitely when you're in the world, like I love throwing my Pokemon when I see a tree shaking, because I know something's in the tree. Let me hit it, and then there's a new Pokemon that you normally can't find that falls down that you can fight and collect. So I like just this randomness that you could go into and everything. Look, if y'all want some good open world stuff, go play Grand Theft Auto, because the thing about it is, as busy as that game is, you will literally find nothing to do in that game. You can't go into all the buildings. You only could go to certain clothes stores and certain barbershops and stuff. And it's a big and vast world that you do limited stuff. So if you're trying to compare it on that level to what Pokemon Legends is, it's completely different. You are in the wild. Go out in the forest preserve in a walk and think that you're going to just be like, oh, they're going to TJ Maxx. Wait, what is the TJ Maxx doing? You're not going to find that in this kind of game. And if it's a big complaint stuff, then you got to realize what the game is for, because a lot of people who's been playing this game find it relaxing. They find it like therapeutic and stuff. And so, as for this open world, I don't see no problem with it. I love the hidden stuff. I love just going around and fighting the big Pokemon that's right there, looking ready to crush you or fight you and stuff, chase you. Like, I love all of that. It's goofy, but it's also casual and fun. And that's what the game is. Now, Stephanie, you asked what our Pokemon starters were. So, who wants to start?
I can start because mine was simple. I let chat. I did a 24-hour live stream for Pokemon. I do one for every big Nintendo IP that comes out. I let chat decide my starter, and they ended up going with Cyndaquil because I told them. So my like little character, my little like, if I had plushies, it would be an otter, that sort of thing, right? Galatrad is an otter. It's an otter knight. And I told them, Oshawott makes sense, but just so you know, I hate Samurott, so we're not evolving him past Duat, which is Oshawott's middle evolution. And chat was like, well, that's stupid. And so they chose Cyndaquil instead. But yeah, so that's me. I ended up with Cyndaquil, but I let chat decide. If I got to choose, I'd probably pick Oshawott and just leave him at Duat.
Okay. Who's next?
I picked Cyndaquil too. Out of the 3 starters that you have, I just like Cyndaquil's look more. And the fact that Typhlosion has a ghost fire type form now is super cool to me. That's so dope. He kind of looks people were making fun of him because he looks like he's high or something, but he's awesome. He looks so cool to me. And he's just evolved in my game, so I'm very happy with him.
Nice.
He looks like a sad, depressed boy, and I thought it was very fitting because it's like, oh, he turned ghost type, he died. So yes, sad.
I didn't even think about that. Gosh.
And
well, you know what? I'm jumping on that train, and so is Aaron Domingos. We both chose Cyndaquil. I went straight for Cyndaquil. He's my boy.
I gotta say, sorry, Ed, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So, well, I don't know who you picked, Ed, but poor Rowlet. Rowlet is so cute with his little bow tie. But then they did, and Rebellity pointed this out as well, they did Decidueye dirty. I don't know if y'all have seen Decidueye's Hisuian evolution, but he looks like a mess. So Ed, who'd you pick, Ed?
Yeah, I picked Rowlet.
You picked Rowlet? Okay. Well, I want to know what you feel about Decidueye when you get to him.
Okay, so I got Rowlet. I got him level up to Dartrix, and I've always picked grass type. That's my character. That's my trait is grass type. Even though I'm an Aries and I'm a fire. I love grass. I love just with his healing capabilities to keep me alive. When I get strong with him, he just kicks tail and everything. He makes a lot of the fights easier. I know when I see fire type, I'll throw out a beam to drain his energy, and then I'll take my Pokemon and throw out water or rock and fight that way. And be like, you are my last resort in case fire destroys all my characters and everything.
You know, I just looked up Decidueye just in my little Pokemon book. He looks like a very hipster Pokemon, like very hipster look.
In normal Decidueye, yes. The Hisuian Decidueye. So that Decidueye with like a hood, he's kind of like an archer. He uses his wings are like a bow and arrow. But Decidueye from Hisuian is very, very awkward.
I will say this, Dartrix. Okay, so I'm an old school gamer. There's a game called Kid Nickeye that Data East made. If you look it up and you look at the ninjas in there, look at the face, and then go look up at Dartrix from Pokemon Legends. You'd be like, oh wow, I can't believe this. But I love grass. It's like I said, I'm grass type, and it's funny because Corey loves fire type. He's always been fire, so it's just like my best friend. We are at odds when it comes to Pokemon because you like fire and I like grass, and everything. And I do get fire types. I just get fire types when I'm in the field collecting them. I never start the game off with a fire type.
Like it's always good to diversify, but yeah, I feel like every Pokemon fan has like a certain draw to whatever their starter is. But other than starter, like what are some of your favorite types in general? Like I am a fan of electric and not necessarily together, but electric and psychic type Pokemon. I'm really looking forward to just exploring them all.
So I like psychic. I love electric. I actually like the birds, their wind and everything. I like doing peck and stuff. What I don't like is bug. I do not like bug because they take forever to. They get killed by almost everything in the game, and I'm just like, I do not want to deal with this at all. Like I can have a chance with a water type, but bugs I do not like at all.
Yeah, they have a lot of weaknesses too.
Yeah.
Fighting I could do, but it's just like who the heck do I pick for a fighter and everything? Yeah. What about you, Greysun?
Like for my team, I always try to diversify and have at least like, a type, like not have two of the same types. But if I had to like go with like one or two, I really do like dark, ghost, or like psychic. I do like thunder too. I feel like I'm just naming all the elements now. But I have like I got like a Mr. Mime on my team.
Yeah.
Which is a really cool psychic Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I do have a Luxray too, so I got electric type in there. But I really like Pokemon like Honchkrow, like Hoo, and like those type of Pokemon too. Like anything spooky or like just interesting designs. But yeah.
Nice.
Go
ahead.
From the chat, we've got Rebellity saying Chikorita is my favorite starter ever. Team and T Dork,
Good one.
I'm more psychic and flying. My favorite, Dragonite.
Nice.
Yeah. Stray feels bad for the buggies. So poor buggies getting squished. Me personally, my favorite Pokemon ever is Raichu. But my favorite types are Steel and Poison.
Oh yeah.
I like the idea of making okay, so there's a move called Venoshock that does more damage. It's a poison move and it does more damage if the person is affected by a status effect. And so I like the idea of being like, I'm going to poison you and then like gut you with that poison. It's just cool. And then Steel type is interesting just because it's like, I don't know, it's interesting to have like metal Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yes. So as we're getting close to wrapping up, because I know that Stephanie, you got more into playing. We're making progress. What do we think about the controls? Because I was having a problem with like the controls and the menu system. To be like, where in the heck do I go to save this game? Like this is crazy. Like I was getting a little bit confused with the controls, and it may be. I probably say the menu design is kind of confusing more than the controls. But what are your guys' thoughts about that?
Like for me, I've been playing for like over 10 hours, like I said, and I'm still pressing the wrong buttons.
Mm-hmm.
Not to like to catch Pokemon and stuff, but the buttons for like the map and the Pokedex and the satchel, right?
Yes.
Like, everything's like a different button, and it's never the button that I want it to be. So I'm finding myself like pressing these 3 buttons over and over again, trying to open the map, and then it's not really always clear about how to like return to base or how to get back to the village. So you're just kind of like fumbling around, and it's kind of like weird. But I think the controls in the game itself, like running around and dodging and stuff, it's perfectly fine with me. I'm not like pressing the wrong button to dodge or anything. It's not too bad.
I wish they had a run button that you could hit. I don't like
they
that.
do.
That is kind of annoying.
Yeah. Oh no, a run button. Sorry. Yes. Yeah. The analog stick.
You're clicking the stick. You're clicking the stick, and you're like, can I run more? Can I like keep? But she kind of like your character slows down, and you gotta keep like hitting it.
She's like, dude, stop jogging and run. You got the Snorlax.
You got a rapid dash behind you. Yeah.
Right.
So I had a very similar situation 20 hours in, and I was like, okay, open map. Wait, no, that's Pokedex. No, that's menu. Wait, no, okay, add map. I want the map. And it's like, I go to hit start, and nothing happens or something weird happens. And I'm like, why didn't that open the menu? That's the start button.
Yeah.
It's very weird. And speaking back to the tutorial, it's interesting because like this game has a very in-depth tutorial, and I feel like for a lot of us who have played Pokemon the whole time, like we're kind of just like, whatever, it's Pokemon. But then like you get into it and you're like, oh wait, I probably should have paid attention because they changed everything. So it does take some getting used to, and it's a little there are some things that feel intuitive to do, but I'll say this for every game. I wish that you could customize your controller. I wish that they had button mapping, because that would solve any sort of issues with the button problems.
Yeah, and that helps for accessibility too, because this is like an action-oriented game. So I feel like a lot of people who might not be able to, like, who are used to playing Pokemon with one hand or something, can't play this game.
No,
all, I'm sure
it's very
you're kind of like always pressing a couple buttons at once, doing different motions.
Real quick, I want to ask what was y'all's? Has anybody been hit by a hyper beam?
Not yet.
I've dodged a hyper beam.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know it was coming, and I got smacked square in the face by a hyper beam.
Oh,
it's one of the coolest. That's one of the coolest animations I've seen for moves in this game.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, nice.
Very epic. Yeah.
It's Stephanie. It's extra fun when you like have a little tiny Pokemon, and this thing just gets hyper beamed, and it's like, wow, okay,
blown to bits.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm gonna make sure I take screenshots of that.
Yes, it's like a whole video.
Yeah, it is.
Great. So, our indie insider Dan asked us a question about it, and he kind of wanted to ask, do you think that this is going to continue or be a part of the mainline series, or do you think it's going to be a side quest? And His words is, do you think Pokemon will continue this new style of game as their mainline series, or will it be a spin-off series like Persona is to Shin Megami Tensei? Uh,
I'll go first on this one. So I kind of mentioned it earlier briefly. I want the mainline series to take mechanics from this game. I think that if Pokemon goes back to being its standard Pokemon style, it's going to be really jarring. And I think a lot of people are not going, they're going to shy away from it because of that. Because this game feels good to play. I mentioned it on Twitter that this game has done something for me personally that hasn't happened since Generation 2, since Gold, Silver, and Crystal, which was I want to fill up the Pokedex. I want to catch them all because the act of hunt, like you get to literally hunt them and catch them. It just feels good. And but the opposite of that, I've seen some people talking about like, oh, let's get Legends Ho-Oh, let's get Legends Mew, Legend, whatever. I don't think that's going to happen, and I think because we all want it to happen, it's especially not going to happen.
Yeah, for me, like I kind of agree with what you were saying. Like I think we're gonna see the mainline games take a lot of mechanics from this game, like a lot of the quality of life stuff. Hopefully it bleeds into the next generation, but I still think like the next generation is still gonna have a bit of that formulaic stuff that we're used to. Unfortunately, like the not gym battles essentially, but there's gonna be trainers. You're gonna be a Pokemon trainer. You're gonna be battling. You're gonna be fighting against like an Elite Four type thing. But hopefully they do away with random encounters. I want them to just keep going with these open areas, and I think the wild areas in Sword and Shield was the beginning of that, right? I think we're starting to see Game Freak sort of open up and expand Pokemon games. So I hope we see I hope next gen is just like a mix of Legends Arceus with like a little bit of Sword and Shield, but less Sword and Shield, hopefully, because I like this game more.
Yeah.
Yeah, just really let people have a reason for catching Pokemon, give people a lot more stuff to do, side quests and stuff, but also still have like that main story. I just don't think the next mainline game is gonna be like it's not gonna be the Breath of the Wild of Pokemon, but I think we're getting there.
Yeah. And please, for the love of God, please keep crafting because there's nothing. Yeah. It's so nice to be like, oh no, all my Pokemon are really low on health and I don't have potions. Let me just grab some stuff real quick. Versus, all right, now I have to walk for 30 minutes back to the nearest Poke Center to go heal up all my Pokemon. Like, please keep crafting. That's so much fun.
Yes. Stephanie, what are your thoughts? You think it's...
Yeah, I got to piggyback off of what you guys say so far, and I'm sorry I keep referencing Zelda over and over again. But like, there are certain things that would make it difficult to go backward, and since I don't own Game Freak, Pokemon, Nintendo, obviously my word isn't law or anything. But for example, the open world concept that might continue, like that part might continue. Some of the quality of life improvements might continue, but I do feel like just the general like concept is probably more of the spin-off part, but I do think Pokemon the franchise needs to move forward with the framework of how they go about those games. I mean, they've been doing the same thing for a very long time, and so they got to be really careful to keep things fresh, and not lose their player base. And not only that, but now they're going to have people, I hate saying this because now it makes me sound old, Arceus, sorry, might be some people's first entry into Pokemon, and if they do that, that's going to be extremely hard to retain those fans if they go back like, well, I didn't play Sword and Shield, but I know it's different, or stuff like that.
Yes. I think because this is more of a spin-off, I agree with you guys that the ideas that they place in this game, they're going to carry over to the mainline series. So we might get Pokemon Hip and Pokemon Hop, and who knows what that would turn out to be. But some of those ideas, like the crafting, I love the crafting in this game. Being able to use it. I love, getting the clothes and stuff. And the custom clothes and stuff has been in the Pokemon games. But I love the fact that you can get different outfits and, they may they make your appearance like look real. I still love the fact that they're doing a diversity of your characters. You could choose a Caucasian, you could choose black. You
Could be
choose,
better. It could be way better, but yeah, it's good that they
yes,
have at least some options. Because
yeah,
it's like you can be white, brown, or black, and then you could be like a white, brown, or black girl. So it's like I wish you could like actually. They need like
Yeah.
shaders. You can at least kind of mess around with the color
yes.
Yeah.
palette
I
and
mean,
stuff.
at least it's a step. So let's hope maybe
Yeah,
the
yeah.
next time around. Like I'll admit, like sorry to interrupt it. I didn't
No,
mean to.
but
Like, I was like excited, but also disappointed at the same time. Like not in a bad way.
Mhm.
But I'm like, oh, diversity, not that much diversity, but
Yeah,
it's some
yeah.
diversity. Okay.
Something.
Well, and
yes.
isn't it also that you can be white with blonde hair, white with brown hair, and then brown or black? And
Yeah, it's very
yeah.
Yeah.
limited. It's like 8 choices, I think you have. At the
Yeah,
beginning of the game, something like that.
yeah.
So
So,
sorry.
but yeah, other than that, I even though it is a side game, I still could see these ideas carry over into the next one. Any final words, anybody? I know we all want to get back to the game. I know we've been thinking about it. I know you, Stephanie, can't wait to play more, to dive into the game. I'm excited to hear more of the music and write more about it and have a discussion. I know you, Grayson, and Jacob, you guys really want to get back in the game. You'll probably jump onto it right after the podcast before you guys go to bed. But is there anything else about the series? Do we see another Pokemon Legends game, like a sequel to it?
A dream of mine would be would actually to have like a Johto region in the past, because Johto's my favorite region. So just that would be cool. But like Jacob said, I don't think they're gonna keep doing this. I think they're just gonna keep doing the remakes and then experiment later on or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, so my whole reason for thinking that is because like Let's Go, despite the fact that it can be kind of controversial for Pokemon players, it did really well, and then they never capitalized on that and did Let's Go Johto. And so now I'm like, if they do Let's Go Johto, then they'll like wait 8 years to do Legends Johto. So how do we where do we balance that at all? But no, I'm in the same boat. I would love it. Ho-Oh is my favorite legendary, Mew is my favorite mythical. I would love a Let's Go Johto, or not Let's Go Johto, a Legends Ho-Oh, Legends Lugia, whatever, and like learn about all that. Learn about see the tower burn down. Like that would be so cool. But I just don't.
Yeah.
Stephanie, any last words?
Nothing that's, already been said. I just think it's very refreshing, at least from my standpoint, because again, I was someone who was a Pokemon diehard fan like 10 to 15 years ago, and it's not that I fell out of love with it, but it was just the same thing over and over again, and there's just so much to love about it. Ed, you touched upon how relaxing it is, because I've been playing some like epic games and those are great, but it's just nice to have that relax and chill, have a feast for the eyes, and yeah, just kind of be a researcher. So I'm looking forward to playing more of it. I hope they come out with some legends in the future, but like Jacob said, if it even does, it's few and far between, but you can always be optimistic. It's just like with all things Nintendo or anything in the gaming industry, we gamers have to kind of be careful where we set our expectations.
Yes, that is true. Yeah, I hope there's more that I could play. That's all I could say. Well, everybody, we're gonna get into playing with power. Jacob, what have you been playing with power outside of Pokemon?
I mean, I play Minecraft every Sunday, and I've been playing a little bit more of Witchwood. I was trying to beat that game before Legends Arceus came out, but it didn't happen. But no, yeah, just Legends Arceus, man. A little bit of Minecraft and Legends Arceus.
Okay. Stephanie, what have you been playing with power?
So other than Arceus, I kind of finished playing it. Escape from Life Inc. It is an indie game. I just published a review on it. I think it's 2 years old now, but what blew my mind when I rolled credits was that this was made by a 15-year-old person from Sweden. They're just like, this was my passion project. Here it is. And I'm like, wow, not only did you do it, like accomplish something that many people never have done before, it's actually a really fun game. Like I've had a lot of impulse indie game buys on Nintendo eShop last year,
Hmm.
and a lot of them were like, fine. But this one, there's just so much to love. It's very quirky. The dialogue is very sassy. I love it. And you basically swap between three different characters: a fish with legs, a reindeer who has a stuttering problem, and a very cocky eagle. And it's just like very cute. I love the mechanics. It's like a puzzler platformer. It's
Mm.
very affordable, so I recommend it. Escape from Life Inc.
Hmm.
Other than that, those are my Nintendo games. Real quick, as far as on PlayStation, I'm just starting Ghost. I'm not starting. I just started the Act 2 of Ghost of Tsushima.
All right, Grayson, what have you been playing with Power?
Yeah, honestly, it's just been Pokemon past few days, but on my Switch, I've also been playing the new Yu-Gi-Oh free-to-play game called Master Duel that I think came out like probably like 3 weeks ago now.
Mhm.
I have not played a Yu-Gi-Oh game in a very long time, but I used to be really into the card game as a kid, so I thought I would try it out. It's fine. It's all right. I'm just not used to. There's a lot of new rules and stuff that have been added over the years. New type of cards, a lot of different types of cards actually. And I keep getting killed by people like on the first turn. So it's been fun. It's been
Is
fun.
that still by Konami?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it now it's kind of become of pay to win sort of thing, because you can pay to get more cards, and people are making these overpowered decks where like they'll go first and they'll literally take like what feels like 10 minutes setting up their turn. So they're using this card, which activates this card, and they're getting this card from the graveyard, and they're using this card, and I'm just standing here waiting and watching TV, like, oh wait, no, not my turn. And I'm like, I'm not really having that much fun. But when I do win, occasionally, it's really satisfying. So I go back occasionally to like play a few duels while I'm like just watching some TV show or whatever.
As somebody,
It's free, so if you like Yu-Gi-Oh, yeah, check it out.
Go ahead, Jacob.
I was just gonna say, as somebody who's been watching the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, Yu-Gi-Oh the card game it's very interesting in theory, but very
Yeah.
game mechanic. You can manipulate game mechanics very easily.
It's a met. There are cards that have like 2 paragraphs of information on what they do. I'm like, I'm not reading it, so just do everything you want to do, and
Yep.
I'll figure it out when it's my turn, and I'll probably just lose by attacking you. And their
Yeah.
card will be like, oh, this card cannot get attacked by a monster. If you do, destroy the monster. It's like, okay, well, I should have read the essay.
Every Yu-Gi-Oh card needs a TLDR.
Seriously.
Just
Yeah.
pinpoint what's on that
Yeah.
card. And,
Quality of
you
life
know.
features, please.
Yep.
Well, for me, I got been playing Trials of Mana, the remake. Really enjoying that. I had this game for a whole year. Was super excited to play it. Got done with the demo and never touched it after that. So I'm finally jumping into the game and finishing it. Played Street Fighter Third Strike for the Street Fighter 30th collection. I love Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. I think still to this very day is the best fighting game. It surpasses Tosunoku versus Capcom and Marvel versus Capcom 2. I'm sorry, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike is highly up there when it comes to fighting games. Played the arcade version of Contra, seeing how far I could get. I got work on my Contra 2 run because I'm probably gonna be streaming that sometime in the future. And like a guy said, like Pokemon, I actually just picked up Portal 2 on my Series X, the 360 game, because we've been talking about Portal 2, and I'm just like, I want to go back to this game and play. I haven't for my PS3, but I'm going to revisit it for on my Series X and to see how it holds out, because it's been a long time since I played the game. So I'm going to be having some fun with that sometime in the future. But everybody, that's what I've been doing with playing with Power. And that's actually going to be our show. I want to thank you, Grayson. I want to thank you, Stephanie. If you guys want to catch Stephanie, she is on the Boss Rush podcast on Wednesdays at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, and then you guys could catch her on After Dark, our Patreon exclusive show that you guys, if you want to get that early, you can go to bossrush.net and check out our Patreon there, and find out what tier that you guys like. Greysun, you can find him at Games Rant, where he does features and editing, and I think guides still.
Yeah,
Correct?
yeah, a little bit of everything.
Yes. You guys can find Jacob on Twitch also. He at Galatrad, he does a lot of streaming for Nintendo games, so you can check that out. I want to let everybody give out their Twitter handle. Jacob, where can we find you?
You can find me everywhere on the internet at Galatrad. That's Galutrad.
Grayson, where can we find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Greysun Morales, and that's Greysun Morales.
Stephanie, where can we find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Klimov, KLIMOV_author.
You guys can find me on Twitter at That Virtual Code. You can also check out Expansion Pass on our Patreon. You can get that early. Check out Talk the Walk also on our YouTube page, and the 1v1 episodes also there. You can find us more at Discord and join us in the conversations. With that, everybody, have a great week. Have a great weekend. I'm at That Retro Code on Twitter just to make sure. And we will see you guys later on Nintendo Pow Block. Bye, everybody. Woohoo!
Love you.
Bye.